And I began to feel that there was a point where I was not growing in my positions anymore. And I didn't feel like I was making an impact in society.
First of all, can you introduce yourself to our audience, please?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Muheeb. I'm originally from Bangladesh and I am currently based out of Brisbane, Australia. My background is in business. I'm a business professional who worked across multiple different domains, such as business development, marketing, and then I have now moved into project management, specifically in the IT sector.
And what was the career that you left?
So when I first entered the job market, the very first role that I had was in the international education sector. So for over 5 years, I worked across multiple different universities in Queensland. It was a great opportunity for me to do so. I really enjoyed the university environment, the energy that universities had. And one of the perks of my job at the time was I got to travel a lot, and I got to meet a lot of new people from many different countries. Now, I worked in that field for a long time, and over time, I kind of realized that it was quite important for me to better understand other industries, but also see how my skill set could transfer into a role where I felt like I was making more of an impact and a difference in society. So it was about 5 years after working in the education sector that I slowly started to realize that I needed to start making this move. And I started putting in place a plan to make that happen.
Okay, so so if that was the motivation, what was I guess, the final catalyst or impetus that made you decide to start taking action on it?
Yeah, so I think, the education sector has gone through a lot of transformation over the last couple of years. And I began to feel that there was a point where I was not growing in my positions anymore. And I didn't feel like I was making an impact in society. And that was the final catalyst where I decided, okay, I need to now move into doing work that I'm passionate about. And I feel like I'm making a difference. It's really important for people to kind of align their values with the type of work that they're doing, because if there's misalignment and you find that you're not full it's not fulfilling for you, the role where you're at, the quality of your work also suffers.
That's true. So what is the career that you then decided to transition into?
Yeah, so while I was in working in education, one of the things that I looked at some of my strengths, and I like to think that I'm a lifelong learner, and I like to define myself as someone who's a deep generalist. And what that really means is that someone who has a deep understanding of multiple different domains, and in multiple different sectors as well, and able to connect the dots to have a better general understanding and see the big picture. And one of the kind of key roles where I saw this particular skill set fit into was in project management. And so the very first thing that I did was, it's quite hard to transition out of one industry into another. What you want to do is move from a more specialized role within your industry to a role that is easier to transfer across to other industries. So then I got a job as a project manager within the education sector, and I started to run projects, cross-disciplinary projects and cross-departmental projects. What that meant is that I learned how to communicate with different stakeholders inside the organization and outside the organization from many different fields and industries. And it was that path that led me to then move out of the education sector and into a number of different ones. So now I have worked across healthcare, aged care, state government, and IT and software as well.
Oh, so you didn't choose a particular industry.
No.
Y-
So one of the things that I would recommend everyone to do is also, if you worked in one particular industry for a long time, you need to find out which industry interests you the most. You'll also, and you will never know this unless until you give it a try. And for example, for myself, what I found is that working in the healthcare and the aged care sector, I found it extremely fulfilling because I found that there was a lot of impact that I could make in that particular sector. And then I moved into working in IT software, and I found that this is another sector where I could make an impact because you have the opportunity to increase business capabilities of other organizations, specifically organizations that are making a meaningful difference in people's lives as well.
Great. All right. And what do you think was the biggest challenge that you faced when you were trying to transition into a new career trajectory?
I think one of the things that is challenging is really for someone to understand that industry, right? Is to get an insider's perspective what that industry could be like. But also, there's always a very steep learning curve. The good thing is, now with the internet, all information is in your hand, in your smartphone. So, what I recommend everyone to do is constantly upskill themselves. So, one of the things that I did as soon as COVID began and we went into lockdown is to start upskilling myself. So I went back to university, got myself a certificate in information technology. So because I better understood that okay, all going to move into the cloud, we're going to move online, we're going to move into the internet. You need to have a very basic understanding of how technology and infrastructure works and operates on the internet specifically. So obviously always upskill. And the other thing is to educate yourself on the different industries. What are some of the trends in that industry? What are some of the challenges that particular industry is facing? If you want to work for not-for-profits, you have to understand how government funding plays a role. You have to understand what are some triggers which could reduce government funding for those particular industries and what that means for those organizations down the line. What are some of the challenges they need to solve? Um, if you're working for the tech sector, you have to understand what direction tech innovation is moving towards, what that means, and how quickly you will have to innovate and adopt new skills, but also new technology moving forward. I mean, AI is a great example, right? It came in last year and now it has taken over. What that means is that you, as a person, as a consultant or a project manager, or if you are a tech consultant, you're a business analyst, you have to constantly upskill and learn and keep up to date with the trends in that particular industry that you're interested in working.
Yeah, that's great advice. Thanks. That was actually going to be my last question, but you sort of already answered it.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for people? Well, then, in that case, finally, I heard that while we were going through these difficult periods during the pandemic and you experienced career changes yourself, you developed a free program for job seekers that they can do on, well, actually, why don't I let you take it away? Do you want to show us what that program is about?
Yeah, sure. Now, so I during COVID, I envisioned that there would be a time where a lot of people would be out of a job, and I wanted to make an impact and help people do this. So I created a 5-day job seekers accelerator program. Essentially, it takes you through the basics, right? It's for free. You get access. It's. I would recommend that you do it over 5 days. The first day is really you exploring your values, your mission, and finding out and identifying organizations you would like to work for. The second day you would be working on your resume. So you get some tips, but you also get access to some resume templates that you can download and start working on them to make sure that you're ready to go out and send those get your resume ready to send through to potential employers. The third day you work on your cover letter. What are some of the basics, how to format it, and again you get access to free cover letter templates. And then you have LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a powerful tool. So, I recommend that everyone has their LinkedIn up to date and frequently or on an annual basis, make sure that you do an audit of it and it's updated with the most relevant information, experience, certifications, whatever it is. And the last one is a smaller kind of module where we take you through some really basic job interviewing skills. that also has some questions that you can ask your potential employers, because it's not only they're interviewing you, you are also interviewing the employer, because the purpose of this particular program was to help people transition out of their current industries or move up within their current organizations
All
into a
right.
role that better aligns with their vision and their values. So, um, what we will do is we'll potentially share the program with you, but
Yeah.
I'll just share my screen to
Oh,
show
great.
what it looks like. You can see. Let me just move this. It's called the Manager's Job Search Accelerator. It's a 5-day online program. And as I mentioned, it's got 5 sessions. It's self paced, it's completely free. So feel free to have a look, and hopefully you find some value in this particular program.
Great. And I can add a link to this post as well
Absolutely.
so that people have the information.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Mahib. I think that was great advice for people.
Yeah. Is that enough content for you to start putting
Yes.
up?